Hello and welcome to the CJAD Real Estate Show. Terry Kilakos, Chantal Desjardins. Good to be back.
Seriously, it's been like, it feels like forever.
Doesn't it feel like the first day of school?
Yeah, and on top of it, I was in Greece this summer, so what ends up happening is I felt like every single day in Greece was the equivalent of like 3 days.
Oh, like dog years.
Yeah, it was very bizarre. So like I was gone for 3 weeks, but it felt like I was gone for
Forever.
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 Yeah.
Like 3 times that,
9 weeks.
for instance. We're back, though, because we had such a good time last year and we couldn't get enough of each other. So Northeast Mortgages, you can always reach them, 514-680-4674. And if you have any real estate questions, I know you've been saving them up over the summer, you can call us at 514-790-0800 or text on the texting machine, 514-800.
Really?
On the
On the
texting
texting machine?
Yeah, those things on your phone, they're good for texting. Today on the show, we're going to do fact versus fiction.
Yeah.
Demystifying mortgages.
Yes, we are.
You've been planning this all summer, right? When you were in Greece on the beach, you were thinking, you know what, we're gonna get right to this.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Back to business.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like we're done with the small talk part of the show. Well, let's just get right to it.
Yeah. Well, a little bit of a market update. My keyboard's broken. I broke my keyboard. I'm sorry. I'm like
Already?
Yeah.
It's been 30 seconds.
The minute I walked in this afternoon, I was eating an ice cream.
Right.
And Luciano was like making fun of me because I'm eating an ice cream, and so was Ken Connors and stuff.
Right.
Because for some bizarre reason. Anyways, and they jinxed me, so I end up spilling all my ice cream on me.
And on the keyboard, they will be
No,
very
it
upset
was
if you
not
say
on
you
the
spilled
keyboard,
ice cream
no.
on the keyboard.
Anyways, okay, back to business. Okay, so the big news. First of all, Eleni's going to be here next week. Okay, so she's going to be doing the show. She's going to be talking about all the different real estate stats and all that kind of good stuff, all the changes that have happened over the last few months while we've been off the air, as well as leading up to the summer. So she's going to go over that. But on the mortgage side, there's been a couple of little developments. The Bank of Canada has maintained their interest rate, which we were anticipating that they would have. They said that they were going to actually only raise rates a couple of times this year. They did that. And some analysts are looking at it and they're saying, well, they're going to probably leave it alone until next year. And then there's the Bank of Canada, which is kind of being a sourpuss and like a gloomy Gus. And they're like, we're going to raise rates again.
Of course they
so
are.
they're like, beware and be ready for it. So whether or not they will, it's anyone's guess at this point, to be perfectly honest with you.
You think if they say they're going to do it, they might not do it?
Well, they had said that they were going to do a raise this last time and they didn't. So if you look back a couple of months ago, they had said, yeah, there's most likely going to be an interest rate hike. There wasn't an interest rate hike. So all the indicators, so the key indicators that determine whether or not the Bank of Canada would actually raise rates are there. So inflation is very high. Inflation is at 3% right now. Normally, inflation is hovering around 2, a little bit under 2, and that's what's kind of kept the interest rates low over the last little while. But now we've actually seen a spike. So we've seen interest rates spike up. They spiked, not interest rate. We saw inflation spike up to 3%. And because we've seen inflation spike up like that, it could be an indicator that there will be further interest rate hikes occurring. The other thing that they look at is they look at the Canadian dollar. And the Canadian dollar, when they raise the key overnight rate, what ends up happening is the Canadian dollar goes up, which is not good when the Canadian dollar is near parity with the US dollar. Because if all of a sudden they raise the interest rates, the Canadian dollar goes up. If the Canadian dollar goes up, it's not good for the Canadian economy, right? So these are one of these things that are kind of looked at. And now the Canadian dollar is low, inflation is high. So there is a very good chance that at some point over the next few months, we will be seeing some interest rate increases occur. Inflation, if you ask Terry, the conspiracy theorist, which I won't go into too many details, but it has been artificially propped up to the 3% point. Primarily, it has to do a lot with the price of gas, which is actually driving it up. If we remove that out of the equation, inflation is actually pretty low. The other indicator that we kind of looking at is, when is Canada going to hit a next recession? Everyone, economists, they're saying tail end of 2019, beginning of 2020. So if tail end of 2019, beginning of 2020, Canada ends up going into a recession, the Bank of Canada is going to be forced to lower the interest rates again.
And why are they looking at end of 2019 for a recession?
It's you got to remember, recessions are cyclical based on what's happening in the economy, based on, NAFTA, the trade agreements and all that stuff that's happening. All the indicators are pointing to a recession that's going to be occurring, like I said, and it's going to be a fairly substantial one. So when that ends up happening, the Bank of Canada is going to have to lower that overnight rate again. They're going to have to lower it. So I think that they're also positioning themselves to have that wiggle room to be able to lower it. Because if they would have kept rates to where they were, there's nowhere to go, right? They were at half a percentage point. Now they've increased it. If they were to left it at half a percentage point, if there was a recession that was to hit, there's no place to go, but they can't put it to zero.
Right.
Well, they could, but they wouldn't.
No.
So,
that'd be,
craziness.
Craziness.
Yeah.
That's Terry, the conspiracy theorist.
My conspiracy theories go way deeper than that.
Do we have time on the show?
No,
that'd
we
be a
don't.
fun segment to have. And now.
You know what
Terry's
really
conspiracy.
grinds my gears?
Yeah. That'd be pretty fun, actually. Maybe we'll set it into that. Okay, so we're all caught up. We're all caught up for the summer.
Absolutely.
Good.
Yeah.
Now into the fall.
Into the fall.
So one of the changes in the industry, first of all, let's get people to send us their questions that I know you've been saving up all summer. Call us 514-790-0800. Text us at 514-800. So a lot of changes in the industry. What was available 6 months ago, not available anymore.
Yeah.
And
so, we have a lot of people that are coming in, and, there's this misconception that interest rates are still, first of all, interest rates are ridiculously low, regardless of whether they've gone up from last year. So last year, if you were to ask me for a 5-year fixed at this time, you'd probably be somewhere in the 2.5% range, 2.4% range, okay? Today, the interest rates have gone up. So interest rates are significantly higher, almost a full percentage point more. That increase that's occurred, it has to do with everything that's going on with the economy and everything else, but people can't get the 2.5% interest rates that were happening last year. They still think they can.
Yeah.
So we'll end up having clients coming in and they'll say, hey, you know what, my cousin or my uncle or my friend just got, 2.5% on his mortgage. I want the same thing. And that's different times. It's
which is
not the
crazy
same
because it's
thing.
not that long ago,
It's
and
not.
it takes people a lot of time to kind of get it going, to be like, okay, we're ready.
Yeah.
And it's only a couple months, but it's made all the difference.
That's it. But the thing that you have to remember is even at this point where interest rates are, they are so low. If we look at what a traditional interest rate is, it's much higher than that. My first mortgage was at, I think, almost pushing 6%. If people had mortgages in the 80s, it was like 18%, So mortgages,
That's so crazy to think of.
It's
18%.
insane. It's insane. And I would actually, our listeners, I would be curious to know what's the highest interest rate they've paid for a mortgage over the last, 3-4 decades.
Right.
If there's someone that's had like a crazy
Higher
interest
than
rate,
18.
I'd love to hear about it. Text us or call us, and I'd be very curious to know what that number is. But people have lost perspective. They don't, 3.5% or 3.2 or 3.3 or whatever people are getting
very low.
is extremely low. And I always said anything under 5%, you're laughing all the way to the bank. People don't seem to see that anymore. They got used to these low rates, and for them, that's, the sky's falling.
And now people that want to get a mortgage and they go to every bank, they're trying to get the lowest rate.
Yeah.
Then they can just go to a mortgage broker and they can do all the work for them. I like to work smarter as opposed to harder. I don't know if you know that about me.
You really? Yeah, definitely. I mean, you can go to all the different banks, or you can go to a mortgage broker, and the mortgage broker is going to shop the market for you. And that's what we do. This is what we specialize in, and it's a free service. But yet we'll still have clients that'll come in and they'll actually, go to a whole bunch of different banks, and then they'll come to us and say, what can you do? That you're actually shooting yourself in the foot. And after the traffic break, we'll get into it a little bit more.
Oh,
and
Terry's on the ball,
yeah.
keeping his eye on the clock. That's Terry Kilakos, president of Northeast Mortgages, at 514-680-4674. Or you can call us with your questions, 514-790-0800, or text us, 514-800. More on the differences and the benefits of a mortgage broker coming up after this. Right now, a look at the roads with Kira Yeager.
We recently had a collision that was in Boisbriand, and it was on the eastbound 640 at Grande Allée. So it was causing a 10-minute delay. It did get cleared away. So now that congestion is sort of clearing up slowly but surely. It is clearing up. I'm also having a look at the ride coming back down from the cottage on Laurentian Autoroute South. It's okay for now. Not really seeing anything major. There's a little bit of a slowdown in Mirabel. Nothing to worry about at this time. Champlain inbound, that's one you might want to avoid. It does have a 10-minute delay on the bridge. There's a detour at the Bonaventure Autoroute. Remember, you're off limits from the Bonaventure to Édouard Montpetit on the 15 North until tomorrow morning. Also noticing a slight bit of congestion 20 west at First Avenue. I believe that's due to lanes being reduced for some repaving work. At Couche-Tard, fuel up on CAA dollars every time you fill your tank. In fact, you could earn up to 3 cents in CAA money for every liter purchased. Let us know what you see on the roads. Call in your tips to star 800. Your next report, 1:30.
The Real Estate Show is brought to you by Northeast Mortgages.
Hey everyone, it feels good to drive a new car and it feels great to get a fantastic deal on a new car. Grab yours during the Hyundai Final Countdown 2018 Clear Out. The final clearance on 2018 models like the Elantra, Tucson, and Santa Fe. Get 0% financing for 84 months on select models or lease a 2018 Elantra L Manual for $39 a week for 261 weeks with $295 down. So hurry because the 2018's Final Countdown is on and once they're gone, they're gone. Dealer may sell for less. Visit HyundaiCanada.com for details.
There's a story everywhere around the Gibby's dining room. A 25th anniversary here, an 18th birthday, graduation, romantic first date, business meeting, just a pleasant family get-together, and something for everybody on the Gibby's menu. Rib steak, the freshest fish, oysters, jumbo shrimp, chicken Kiev, rack of lamb. Start with the freshest hot bread, crispy dill pickles, and the giant Gibby's salad. Great wine list. The best desserts like key lime pie and chocolate mousse. Gibby's in Old Montreal, free valet parking, and in Saint-Sauveur. 282-1837.
Honey, we should go variable on our mortgage. We'll save more money.
I prefer the security of fixed payments. Let's call Terry Kilakos.
I'm Terry Kilakos. Deciding between a fixed or variable rate is an important decision. Whether you're purchasing your first home or renewing an existing mortgage, one appointment with me is like meeting with over 20 financial institutions. Let me help guide you to make the right decision for your situation. Call me today at 514-680-4674.
Let Terry Kilakos and his team of mortgage brokers with Northeast Mortgages help you. It's simple and it's free. Call 514-680-4674.
Yannick's here, talking with the Baudouins, another Renavco customer.
When I found out just how much mold we had upstairs, I was devastated. I couldn't believe it. I was worried that we had a problem we just couldn't deal with.
But we were very happy the results. So all the workers treated our home like it was their home.
Renavco solves problems, and their customers recommend their work. Visit renovco.com or telephone 514-856-9993. The only Quebec renovator giving Air Miles reward miles.
Northeast Mortgages presents The Real Estate Show with Chantal Desjardins and Terry Kilakos, live online and on CJAD 800.
Real Estate Show here on CJAD. Terry Kilakos, president of Northeast Mortgages and chartered mortgage broker. We are having a great time. It's like the first day of school. You got a new shirt. It's a very white.
You like it?
It's a very white t-shirt. It looks very clean.
It says Aloha.
Aww.
It was clean until I spilled a whole bunch of ice cream on it.
Right, which we won't mention because people don't like when you spill ice cream on their equipment.
I didn't spill it on it. Okay, whatever.
Call us with your real estate questions. We're talking about demystifying mortgages today. Fact versus fiction, 514-790-0800 or text us at 514-800. We did just get a text. Don't know their name, though. I like when I can say your name, so put your name in there.
We're going to call this person...
Betty?
Yes, Betty.
Betty says that she had an interest rate of 14.5% back in 1984, a one-year term over 25 years. That's a high rate. It kind of makes like 3.5%.
It was
like
higher.
Nothing.
It was higher. My in-laws still talk about what was it, Marav? It was they got 12% and they were excited about it. 13.
Wow.
So they got 13% and they were like, "We got a great deal on our mortgage. It's 13%."
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Just gives you perspective,
yeah.
you know?
And what I love is people that'll come in, they're like, well, that'll never happen again. Are you nuts? Like,
Yeah, but
why?
I still kind of feel like it'll never happen again either.
We'll see. But you got to put things in perspective, right? So if you're getting 13% or 14%, sorry, if you're paying 13-14% on your mortgage, how much are you getting from a Canada Savings Bond, right? So it's all relative. Everything is linked together, right? So if interest rates on your mortgages are that high, you're getting a crazy amount of money on your returns on your investments. So it all balances out.
You're not going to get the house that you can afford at 3.5%, and then it's going to spike to 14%. You're going to have to sell the house.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
I severely doubt that would happen.
Oh, Lucy just texted us. Thanks for adding your name, Lucy. My husband and I bought our house in 1982. The interest rate was 21%.
Boom.
Got a buy down to 17%. Thought we were so lucky. LOL. Thank you for explaining. Laugh out loud.
So, see, I love clients like Lucy because when they come in and I'm like, your interest rate is like, 3%. They're like, wow.
Amazing, right?
Exactly.
Whereas like millennials are probably like, no,
3%.
Way too high. I want 1%
We want
or
0.
nothing.
Okay. No, there's nothing wrong with millennials.
Oh,
aren't you
fine.
a millennial?
Almost.
Yeah.
So before the break, we were talking about mortgage brokers and banks and the difference. And
so I had a client. It just happened this week, and it was kind of like one of the reasons why we wanted to talk about this today. So this guy comes in and he's like, "Look, I just want you to give me the best possible interest rate. I want to refinance my house." And I'm like, "Okay." I said, I'm a mortgage broker. By default, you're going to have the lowest rate, but let's talk. Let's have a conversation here. So he starts going off about, he starts telling me about what he wants to do, this project that he's looking to do. He wants to refinance his house. He wants to add a second floor. He wants to rent it out. It's like a whole freaking process. And he's got no mortgage on his place. So for me, I sat there and I advised him, number one, on the process of what the reality is, because what people think is the reality and what actually is the reality, two very different things, right?
Like in terms of how long it's going to take. And
Exactly. So I sat there, I explained, and he's like, well, the person at the bank never explained any of this stuff to me. And I'm like, well, the person at the bank that has no clue about real estate.
Right.
With all due respect to the people at the bank. Please do not send me emails, people at the bank.
Say all the people at the bank.
Okay, like honestly, on a weekly, like after the show, like I would make a comment, and like I had this one guy one time, he's like, I'm going to call CJAD and complain you're offending people. Anyways, whatever. Okay, so what was I saying? Yeah, okay.
First show back, everybody. First show back.
Okay, so this guy, he comes in, right? So I explained to him the process, and I'm like, well, instead of taking all this money, because he wanted a rental, that was his whole plan.
Right.
And he's like, he wanted to take this money and use it to construct. And I say to him, well, instead of constructing a second floor on your house, why don't you go and take that $200,000 and go buy something else? I never thought of that.
And why would that be better for him than adding it on to his place?
Simplicity, right? And it's literally dollars
turnkey,
and cents. Yeah. Does it make, if you want to take $200,000 and make a return on it, figure out a way to make a return on it. Don't go spending and constructing and blah blah blah, a whole bunch of things. So we kind of looked at some properties and stuff like that. He's like, oh, yeah, we could do that. So that all of a sudden makes a difference.
For sure.
Interest rates were kind of comparable to what he was receiving at the bank. But I said, let me make some calls. So he had gone to a couple of banks that we deal with because especially for us at Northeast, we literally deal with every single bank. So we even have the banks that don't typically deal with mortgage brokers just because we have real estate licenses, right? So because we have real estate licenses, we have the whole gamut of every lender. Anyways, so I start calling some lenders, and the rates that I had with the lenders that he had gone to were actually lower. However, because he had already gone to those lenders, his file was blocked. So he couldn't have access to the rates that I could get him because he had already gone into the bank, met with a representative, and now the representative of the bank actually had the file and was blocking me from actually submitting the file. Because you have to understand something. Within the banking channel, there's this thing that's called the profitability index. So they have to be profitable, right? And they have this discretion. They're able to buy down rates. They're able to take a rate from, 3.4. They're able to take it down to 3.3 or 3.25. But what ends up happening is it feeds into their profitability, right? So when it ends up eating into their profitability, they won't do it, because at the end of the year, if they have too many of these deals that have
For sure.
eroded their profit margins, the managers and stuff won't be happy, and so they just don't do it. But we don't have any profitability, so we will have the floor rate before the people that are in the bank do. But if you've gone already into the bank, we can't access that rate
So is it
anymore.
that people just don't know the difference between a bank and a mortgage broker, that they just automatically go to the bank that they already
Exactly.
deal with?
So that's what happens. So the majority of people, they don't understand what the job of a mortgage broker is, right? They think that a mortgage broker, you'll go to him after, or they think that there's going to be a hidden fee. Or there's no fees. There's no charge for our services. It's free. Okay, it's the banks who pay us.
Right.
And for me, I don't care if I put you with Scotiabank, if I put you with TD, or if I put you with one of the virtuals like First National. It's completely irrelevant. They all pay us the same. So for me, the most important thing is I want to make sure that the mortgage has the right structure for the client so that it's set up correctly. Once the mortgage is set up correctly, at that point, we're able to go in and look at who's going to give us the best interest rate and so on and so forth.
Got a couple texts. You deal with all banks, ? Even Laurentian?
No, actually, we do deal with Laurentian, and we don't. So Laurentian, as of last year, ended up coming out of the mortgage brokerage channel because Laurentian Bank ended up getting caught with their hand in the cookie jar.
Oh, no.
Where they offloaded a whole bunch of shady deals. Anyways, whatever. That's a whole other story, okay? More of my conspiracy theories, okay? But whatever. So they ended up cutting the mortgage brokerage channel. However, through our real estate division, yes, we do deal with Laurentian Bank as well.
Okay. That is the voice of Terry Kilakos, president of Northeast Mortgages and chartered mortgage broker. I'm Chantal Desjardins. You can call us at 514-790-0800 or text us at 514-800 when we come back. We'll talk about the obligation for banks to pay notary fees, whether they have an obligation or not, and a whole lot more. We're demystifying mortgages right here on CJAD.
The Real Estate Show is brought to you by Northeast Mortgages.
Hi, you've reached summer, your favorite season. I can't take your call right now because I'm outside, and you should be too. I'm not over yet, so there's plenty of time to hit the beach, spend time at the cottage, or find a trail to hike. Get the most out of me. Don't miss the Infinity Final Days of Summer event.
Infinity has a full range of luxury vehicles for everyone. Right now, receive up to $8,000 in cash credits or lease from 0% on select 2018 models. Visit your local Infinity retailer today.
Tell them Summer sent you.
The vote of a mechanic, or an astrophysicist, or a magician. There's no difference. All votes are important. On October 1st, it's your vote. A message from Élections Québec.
Thrift Shops for Nova stores are having a 50% off sale September 8th and 9th to support Nova West Island, a not-for-profit volunteer-driven healthcare organization. Clothing, housewares, jewelry, toys, and more in St. Anne de Bellevue, Beaconsfield, Kirkland, and Plaza Point Clare. ThriftShopsForNova.com.
Introducing the world's best-selling plug-in hybrid SUV, the Mitsubishi Outlander PHEV. Make no compromises with the versatility of an SUV and the performance of the Super All-Wheel Control. With its electrical drive, you'll enjoy a quiet, smooth ride and big savings on gas. Get all this now with an incredible offer during our 2018 model clear-out. Plus, get $4,000 off with the provincial rebate. Details and conditions at MitsubishiGrandMontreal.com or at Mitsubishi. Drive your ambition.
It is said that it crossed one or two oceans before arriving in Quebec, in which it protected the treasures of many wealthy families. Precious clothes, carefully embroidered fabrics, valuables, a real little treasure chest. Until the day when Sonia hesitated between using it as a side table or as storage in Julien's room.
Ah, it's beautiful.
Eco Depot for affordable vintage furniture and accessories with a history as unique as yours. EcoDepotMontreal.com.
The semi-annual sale at Design Louis George continues. For a limited time, save up to 70% on beautiful furniture for your dining room, bedroom, and living room. Save on accessories, lighting fixtures, a luxurious collection of bedding and towels. Now's a great time to update your home decor during the semi-annual sale at Design Louis George. Visit their big, bright showroom in TMR, 4360 Côte de Liesse Road, east of Décarie. Free parking. DesignLouisGeorge.com.
For a limited time, you get 42% off all frames in celebration of Gratian Scaff's 42nd anniversary. A discount even valid on frames from top designer brands you've been dreaming of for a long time. Only at Gratian Scaff, your eye care professionals.
Good afternoon. This is Luciano PP. Here's what's making news at 1:30. Surprise move today by workers at the SAQ. They walked off the job a third day of odd job action a day earlier than planned. Today represents the third of 6 planned one-day strikes for the employees who've been without a contract since March 2017. They're expected to be off the job tomorrow as well. Liberal leader Philippe Couillard is pledging to help Quebec's 1.5 million caregivers by creating a tax credit to help them renovate their homes to accommodate an elderly person. He told reporters in Trois-Rivières today the credit could reach $2,400 a year. CAQ counterpart François Legault is accusing Couillard of overspending. PQ says it wants to create a Quebec Consumer Protection Bureau. Quebec Solidaire, meantime, highlighting biological farming. A man's been charged after a woman was stabbed in what Toronto police say appears to have been an unprovoked attack. Investigators say 2 women were walking in the city's north end Friday night when a man approached and stabbed one of them in the head. Police say the woman suffered non-life-threatening injuries, that the suspect was arrested soon after, but there was no immediate word on a possible motive for the attack. More news including what percentage of Quebecers apparently may have to borrow money to pay bills at CJAD800.com. From the CJAD 800 Traffic Center, Sunday afternoon, what's it like out there? Kira Yeager.
Well, Luciano, those who are using the inbound Champlain are going to have about a 10-minute delay on the bridge, and that is because of a closure that is in effect throughout the entire weekend. The closure's on the 15 North from the Bonaventure. It goes up to Édouard-Montpetit de Carry North, so it is a long stretch of road. Remember as well that no ramps onto that stretch available either. So again, back to the inbound Champlain. 10-minute delay, you'll be redirected onto the Bonaventure auto route. Elsewhere, not too bad actually. Most of our auto routes are looking good. Slight delay through Mirabel, Laurentian auto route south. A slight delay as well on the Met westbound out around Papineau. Nothing to worry about. We do have this cycling event going on though surrounding the mountain. So that means we have closures on Park Avenue and also on Côte des Neiges. At Couche-Tard, fuel up on CAA dollars every time you fill your tank. In fact, you could earn up to 3 cents in CAA money for every liter purchase. Traffic and transit every 15 minutes on CJAD 800. Your next report, 1:45.
From the Dormez-vous Weather Center, sunshine this afternoon, 19 for the high, 9 for the low tonight. Few clouds this evening, then increasing clouds. Tomorrow, rain, beginning in the afternoon with gusty easterly winds, a high of 17. Temperature right now in Montreal, 16 degrees. Next update at 2 o'clock. Breaking news as it happens. News Talk Radio, CJAD 800.
Real Estate Show here on CJAD. Coming up in the next 15 minutes, we're demystifying mortgages, including penalties for breaking your mortgage.
The Real Estate Show is brought to you by Northeast Mortgages.
Come on, let's go! Highway Through Hell is gearing up for one action-packed season. Unpredictable weather. Unbelievable moments. What's it? Our highway heroes are at the ready. Hey, here comes Calvary! For anything. Holy! And it's going to be epic. Oh, I'm expecting mayhem. An all-new Highway Through Hell, Tuesday at 10 on Discovery.
People keep asking me if we sell flying carpets. It all depends, but they are the most beautiful Persian carpets in town. I am Shuja Bashir of Bashir Persian Carpets. I invite you to visit us at 8461 DeCarry or BashirCarpets.com.
You know when you have news you don't want people to miss out on? Well, meet Ford employee Patrina.
Someone should be excited about Ford employee pricing because you get to pay what we pay, and what we pay is a great price.
Right now, you can get over $5,000 in total price adjustments on a new 2018 Escape Titanium, plus an additional $750 in bonus cash.
It's here, but not for long. What are you waiting for?
Now's the time to get Ford employee pricing. It all ends October 1st. Conditions apply. Visit your local Ford store or Ford.ca.
From a mother to a daughter, from a grandmother to a granddaughter. It's a gift with an emotional connection to be a treasure. If you have a fur coat you want to restyle, resize, or remodel, come see me. Hi, I'm Pavlos. At Starlight Furs, you can discuss many possibilities you can do to revive your fur coat or jacket. Call me for a personal consultation to make your fur coat as fabulous as you. Visit starlightfurs.com, starlightfurs.com.
The Great TV Sale is back. All formats, 32 to 86 inch. LG, Samsung, Panasonic, OLED, QLED, and LED. Pay in 18 interest-free payments at Centre Hi-Fi.
Are
Are you worried about your parents or loved one living alone in their house that has always been their home? You're not alone. Many families experience the same situation and are forced to make tough decisions. I'm Jill Usagno, founder of Comfort Keepers Quebec. Comfort Keepers helps make things right and safe by keeping your parents comfortable and happy in their own home. We provide housekeeping services, personal care, or medical assistance. Comfort Keepers brings trusted home care for people who need either a few hours now and then or full-time around the clock. Visit comfortkeepers.ca to find your local office.
You're tuned in to The Real Estate Show on CJAD 800 with Chantal Desjardins and Terry Kilakos.
Hello, everyone. It's The Real Estate Show. We're back. It's the first day of school for Terry Kilakos, president of Northeast Mortgages and chartered mortgage broker, and myself, Chantal Desjardins. We got our new school clothes on. We got our lunch packed. We don't have a lunch packed. Do you bring your lunch to work? You seem like a...
I told no.
No?
Yeah,
Every
actually,
day?
Like
Like in a paper bag or like in a lunch kit or?
It all depends on if Marav.
I was going to say,
lunch.
as if you're making your own sandwiches. Let's be real. Give us a call, 514. I just don't see you as a guy that's like, you seem
I
like.
cook.
Do you?
Yeah.
What's the last thing you cooked? Marav is shaking her head in like.
Don't I make eggs in the morning?
Wow. Real culinary specialist is what you are.
I put on my apron and I'm like cooking away.
No one needs to picture that. Give us a call, 514-790-0800 or text us at 514-800 with your real estate questions. We're talking fact or fiction, demystifying mortgages today. We just got a text from John. Hi, guys. I own a duplex with my brother 50-50. He's downstairs with the basement. I'm upstairs with the garage. But if the house gets sold, everything is 50-50. I'm thinking of selling my house. What can I do? And no, I haven't turned it into a condo. P.S. He can't afford to buy me out. Cannot afford to buy me out.
So in a situation like this where there's two owners, it's touchy because obviously it's his brother. But the reality is that you cannot force someone to continue to stay in a place or to own something if he doesn't want to own it anymore, right? So they each have rights. They each have the, John and his brother. They own it 50-50, so they each have their portion that is theirs. But if John wants to sell, his brother basically at that point doesn't necessarily have to sell, but John can theoretically go and get a court order forcing the sale, right? Now, if John wants to be nice, he can go and find someone that's willing to buy his portion of the property and kind of cohabitate with his brother, or you can do it as an undivided co-op, okay? Or you can look at doing condos, although depending on the area, that can just create a whole other slew of things.
Because how much of a problem is it to turn a duplex into a condo?
It depends on where it is, right? So if you're somewhere in, NDG or something like that, it might be an undivided co-op at that point. You do have areas that you are allowed to go full condo, where you actually divide it and you make common portions and stuff like that. And then there's others where you can't, right? So in a case like this, I would have a notary kind of look at it and not a real estate agent, because the real estate agent is going to come in and say, yeah, we could sell this place for X amount of dollars.
And then all you see is dollar signs and you're like, sorry, brother.
Exactly. So what they need to do is they need to go and speak to a notary. So the notary can kind of give them their options about dividing and undivided, and make sure that the notary actually knows about undivided co-ops, so that way they can figure that stuff out. The other thing that he can do is go see a mortgage broker, right? Depending on the amount of equity, I don't know if his brother could actually afford or can't afford. Depends on where he went and where he didn't go, to which banks he went to. Maybe the people didn't know what they were talking about. So it's a conversation, again, that they need to have and make a plan. So if they sell, the brother ends up getting a nice chunk of change, right, from the sale. That can go towards a down payment towards buying something else. So again, it's just a conversation. You just gotta, in a case like this is where we come in. We act as mediators almost.
Now, we got a text from Just Drew. I don't know if his name is Drew and he just wants to go by Just Drew, if he has no last name, or if his name is Just Drew. But he says, question right now is locked in or variable.
So what's better, to lock in or go variable? It depends on the spread that you have, right? So if your spread, I always say, is greater than about 1% or close to 1% of what you could have. So let's say you have a 3.6% for a 5-year fixed or a 3.5, and the other option is to go on a variable, and the variable would be around 2.7. That means that the Bank of Canada would have to meet and raise rates at least 4 times for you to be kind of at the same rate, kind of breaking even. Then the bank would have to raise again a 5th time for you to be losing. And then if you average out over the last year or so while they were raising, the averaging out will end up making you ahead of the game on the variable rate. So it really depends on you, and it depends also on how well you're able to tolerate the risk. We know that the Bank of Canada is going to be raising rates right now. So we have a couple of little strategies that we use when somebody wants to go variable. There is a way of actually taking a variable rate, paying a higher amount on a monthly basis, and that way the difference between the variable rate and the fixed rate that you would have had will go directly into your capital, helps you pay off the mortgage faster. So that way when rates actually do go up,
there's less risk.
There's less risk because you'll actually owe a lot less on your mortgage.
Got a text from someone that didn't leave their name, so we're going to call them Steve?
Steve?
Let's
Go
Steve.
Bob.
Let's go Bob Steve. Why can't a bank not give you a lower interest rate just to get your business? So we were talking about the difference between a mortgage broker and a bank, and that you always go to a mortgage broker because they'll get the lowest of all the banks.
Yeah.
But that's a good question. Like, why can't somebody just at a bank just say, well, listen, we'll just give you the lower than the lowest?
It has to go with the profitability index of the bank and what is the discretion of the individual branch that you go to. So I have people, they come in and they'll go to, Bank ABC. So I'll have 3 different clients. They've all gone to Bank ABC, and one will get a rate of 3.5%. The other one will get 3.39%, and the other one will get something crazy like 3.99. All different. Same bank. And it all has to do with the person that they've actually spoken to. So depending on where this person's profitability index is, they will determine what interest rate they're able to give at that point and what discretion that branch and that individual representative of the bank actually has that he's able to use to get the lower rate. But yes, you're right. If somebody has, in some cases, the banks will say, hey, you went to a mortgage broker, he offered you this, we'll match it.
Mm-hmm.
And then at that point, you got to kind of look at yourself and say, why would I take the hard work of someone else and then give it to the bank? Like I've given this example in the past where I had actually a plastic surgeon who's a longtime client of mine now and a good friend. And when I had originally met him, he comes to me and he says, Terry, he goes, you're giving me a really good rate, which is better than what my bank offered me. But if I take the rate and I end up giving it to the bank, I'm sure they're going to match it. And I'm like, in your practice, I said to him, do you have clients that come to see you, get a quote from you, and then take it to another plastic surgeon and compare quotes and all that stuff?
That's very Winnipeg. We do that all the time.
And he's like, yeah. And I said, and what do you call those clients? And he kind of looks at me and he's like,
good point.
Good point,
Terry.
yeah. And so he ends up becoming my client.
Right.
And, 10 years later, he's still my client. And, the rest
and
is
you've
history.
worked out some exchange, like if some of us were looking for a little plastic.
Yeah, no problem. Don't worry about it.
Kidding, I kid. So Laura just said we were talking about penalties if you're going to break a mortgage, and Laura wrote in, do some banks pay your penalty?
No. Banks do not pay penalties. Banks do not give you anything without something attached to it. There always is a string attached. So you might get a cashback to pay a penalty, but that's going to come with a higher interest rate. Or it means that if you end up breaking that mortgage in the next 5 years, you're going to not only have to pay back the penalty that you're getting from the new mortgage that you're setting up, but you also have to give back that cash back. So nothing is for free. You have to remember that. And people lose sight of that. They think, oh, my bank is doing this, my bank is doing that. No, they are not. It's hidden. It's in there, right? So you have to be aware. Or what they're going to do is they're just going to increase the mortgage. Let's say you owe 300, your penalty is 303. They'll increase the mortgage, 3,000. They'll increase the mortgage to 303,000, right? And then at that point, they've just put it into the mortgage, and now you're amortizing it over the next 20 years, 25 years, whatever, and that penalty has now gone from 3,000 to 6,000 by the time you're done.
That is the voice of Terry Kilakos, president of Northeast Mortgages and chartered mortgage broker. I'm Chantal Desjardins. You can call us at 514-790-0800 with any of your real estate questions or text us at 514-800. More on demystifying mortgages, including how hard is it to get approved for a mortgage? Just because you have a high net worth Do you just automatically? No, there's strings attached. We'll tell you all about it. But first, let's look at the roads with Kira Yeager.
Remember that if you are in the South Shore and you are coming into town, you might want to avoid the inbound Champlain Bridge. There's a detour after the bridge onto the Bonaventure Autoroute. Remember, we have a closure from the Bonaventure. It goes up to Edouard Montpetit on the 15 North. It will end in the morning, a Monday morning at 5 o'clock. But for now, you do have a detour onto the Bonaventure Autoroute. So you might want to use the inbound Mercier, which is not too bad. A little bit busy as you come off the bridge, but a nice option. Also, the inbound Victoria is a nice option, as is the inbound Jacques Cartier. Elsewhere, we're looking quite good, actually. Laurentian Autoroute South, a slight delay in Mirabel as you come back down from the cottage. And also, we have a cycling event going on, so there's a number of street closures surrounding the mountain, notably on Park Avenue and Côte des Neiges. Sometimes it takes talking to a healthcare professional for things to click into place. Talk to your doctor or pharmacist about Champix or visit champix.com for more information. Let us know what you see on the roads. Call in your tips to Star 800. Your next report, 2 o'clock.
This week on the TED Radio Hour. Is it possible to think about death in a totally new way?
People are so afraid to be interested in death. They don't want to seem morbid. If you're not going to be interested in death, if that's not the universal experience, what is?
I'm Guy Raz. Ideas about what it means to die well. That's next time on the TED Radio Hour from NPR.
Listen today at 6 on News Talk Radio, CJAD 800.
The Real Estate Show is brought to you by Northeast Mortgages.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
You just listened to someone offering their seat on the subway to an elderly man, someone holding the door for an injured neighbor, and someone helping a young traveler find a specific street. All examples of doing the right thing, which is exactly what we do at Ad Standards by helping ensure all advertising is truthful, fair, and accurate. Learn more at adstandards.ca. Doing the right thing for over 60 years.
Honey, we should go variable on our mortgage. We'll save more money.
I prefer the security of fixed payments. Let's call Terry Kilakos.
I'm Terry Kilakos. Deciding between a fixed or variable rate is an important decision. Whether you're purchasing your first home or renewing an existing mortgage, one appointment with me is like meeting with over 20 financial institutions. Let me help guide you to make the right decision for your situation. Call me today at 514-680-4674.
Let Terry Kilakos and his team of mortgage brokers with Northeast Mortgages help you. It's simple and it's free. Call 514-680-4674.
You only get one chance at a first impression, so why not make it a great one with a beautiful smile? Le Centre d'Implantologie Montréal-Rosemont. For dental implants and smile design, visit mesimplants.com or call 514-899-9991.
Your greater Montreal Mitsubishi. From road trips to city commute, count on the Mitsubishi RVR subcompact crossover. It's great on gas and comes with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, ample cargo room, and available all-wheel control system. All backed with a 10-year powertrain limited warranty. Right now, get all this with an incredible offer during our 2018 model clear-out event. Now is the best time to get great value on the 2018 RVR. Details and conditions at MitsubishiGrandMontreal.com or at Mitsubishi, drive your ambition.
Imagine how beautiful your home could be if it was your own creation. Then make it happen with Cameo Collection. Chic, customizable pieces that are made in Montreal and are delivered in just 3 to 6 weeks. Everything you need for your bedroom, dining room, living room, or kitchen. Plus accessories like rugs, throws, wall art, and much more. Make your home look the way you want it to. Cameo Collection, 7955 Trans-Canada Service Road. Custom designed furniture is their signature. Visit cameocollection.ca.
You're tuned in to The Real Estate Show on CJAD 800 with Chantal Desjardins and Terry Kilakos.
Well, it's almost the end of the first day of school. Terry's got a book. Don't know what book it is.
It's the Merriam.
Oh, wow.
The Merriam-Webster's Collegiate Dictionary, 10th edition.
Good to know. It looks like it's from 1987. That is the voice of Terry Kilakos. He carries a dictionary with him wherever he goes. President of Northeast Mortgages and chartered mortgage broker. I'm Chantal Desjardins, and you can call us. We're getting a lot of texts today. You can call us at 514-790-0800 or text us at 514-800. We're talking
It's from
about
1993.
Is it really?
Yeah.
It looks like something I had like in school. We were talking about demystifying mortgages, and we're not following the script that Marav gave us at all, but that's okay because we're getting so many texts.
Exactly.
So Frank texts, I don't plan on breaking my mortgage during my term, so, do I ever have to talk about penalties?
Yes. So the statistic is close to 80% of people that set up a mortgage will break it within the first 5 years
Wow.
of setting it up. Life happens. 5 years is a long time. People, we kind of lose track. As we get older, we don't realize just how long 5 years is. And things can happen. There could be sicknesses. You might want to sell the place. You might want to, there's been people that have called me and they say to me, what's the best rate? What can you do for us? And I kind of look at it and I'm like, I can send you here. So they'll come to me, I want to go anywhere except I don't want to go to virtual lenders. I want you to put me with a brick and mortar. I'm like, okay, well, I could put you with a brick and mortar lender, or I can put you with a virtual, for example. A virtual lender, the penalties are significantly less. It's not even comparable in some cases. When you go with the brick and mortar banks, they're going to use the posted rate that they had, what rate they gave you, the discount that you got off of that, all that to factor in a penalty. And those penalties can be huge. And I had this one client early on this year who 3 years ago he came to me and he wanted to actually buy a property, and I advised him to not go with the bank that he wanted to go. Didn't listen to me, and I specifically told him the reason why you don't want to go with that bank is because your penalty is going to be astronomical. And he says, no, this is my bank. I want to go with that bank.
Oh no.
There's something in it for you. His penalty was pushing $20,000 when he broke that mortgage. And then he called me to see if I can do something about that penalty that he
had to
paid.
clean up his mess, Terry.
And I was like, it ain't happening. And what's worse is the penalty that he paid, had he gone with the bank that I was advising him to go with, it would have been $3,000.
Wow.
So,
that's an expensive mistake.
Yeah. And it happens all the time. You have to understand, this is what we do day in, day out. This is what we do. So we know mortgages, and when we tell someone, hey, you should go here instead of going there, listen, there's a reason why we're saying that. We live in a society right now where people, they'll go to WebMD so that they can diagnose themselves, or they'll go online so that they could figure out what's the best mortgage and all that stuff. The majority of people that are doing mortgages online are basically working in a call center, and they're just processing deals.
Yeah.
There's no advice, there's no guidance, there's no structure.
There's no friendship.
There's no friendship, there's no relationship. And it's important. This is the biggest debt that most people are going to ever have in their life, and it's the biggest purchase that they're going to ever make, that they're ever going to have in their life, and they're relying on whatever, smoke and mirrors.
Now, there's so much more to get to in the last couple minutes,
I
but I
know.
did mention if you can get approved if you have a high net worth, regardless. So we should touch on that before we get to the fun texts that are coming in.
And the callers.
And the call. Oh, there's the caller. Good thing you're here. I would have let whoever that is sit on hold forever. Should we just go? No, we'll touch. Okay, we'll go to the caller first.
Yeah.
Can we, David? Can we get the caller? That's not a caller. That wasn't. That wasn't a caller. David's talking to his mom.
Okay. So, yeah, go ahead.
So let's talk about, if you have a high net worth, can you automatically get approved for a mortgage?
No.
No,
you don't automatically get approved for a mortgage. And this is another misconception that people have. Well, my credit is good. I have crazy money in the bank. Why am I not getting approved for this mortgage? Because you have no income, right? For people that listen to this show long enough, they know that there's 3 elements that are required whenever you're applying for a mortgage: credit, income, and equity. And the 3 will actually work in tandem. They'll work hand in hand together to determine whether or not you're going to actually qualify for the mortgage. But if those elements are out of balance, the other sides do have to make up for it. And if they don't make up for it, you do not qualify for that mortgage, period. It doesn't matter how much your net worth is. It doesn't matter how high your credit score is. And the other myth is that people think that just because they have a really high credit score, they're going to end up, having a better interest rate. Credit scores are a pass and fail. And that's what you got to understand. Once you're above a certain number, you'll qualify like just the rest of the folks, and you'll get the same interest rate that everyone else does. If your credit score is between certain numbers, your interest rate will go up, but that's because you're dealing with different lenders that are not open to lending to typical people. And then if your credit score is way below a certain number, then you're going into the privates territory, and then you have very high interest rates.
So we have someone on the line right now. Let's head over to the phones. Who is there?
Jacob.
I was trying so hard to find it quickly and
Really?
subtly. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I'm going to take over here.
You
Okay,
take
go.
over. I'm mailing it
Hi,
in.
Jacob. How are you?
Hi, guys. How are you?
Good.
Good. So I have a question. I'm looking at a house in Saint Eustache.
Yeah.
It's an older house,
Mm-hmm.
and it had some pilings put for the foundation.
Yep.
But the floors, it's a one-level house with a basement,
Mm-hmm.
and the floors are slightly sort of unleveled.
Yeah.
Is that an issue or not? I mean, the pilings were done, so I know that the foundations are stable.
Is the house, first of all, who did the pilings? Was it like an actual company, or was it the previous homeowner that did it?
Yeah, no, a large company, well-known.
Okay, so I mean, if everything has kind of settled and everything is good, then it shouldn't be an issue. Plus, the house should come with a legal warranty. So, seeing as it'll come with a legal warranty, you shouldn't have many issues with respect to it. However, you should get, in a case like that, get a structural engineer to come in, not a home inspector. Okay, because a home inspector cannot give like an actual proper assessment, right? So, get an actual structural engineer to come in and analyze whether or not the job was done correctly.
Okay.
All right.
But the fact that the floors are a little bit unleveled, does that reduce the
No,
value?
no. I mean, if it's a little bit, I mean, most houses, especially once they're a certain age, they might go a little bit uneven, but that shouldn't have an effect, too much of an effect.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Thanks,
All right.
Jacob.
Thanks, Jacob. Now, we don't have time, unfortunately, for Mike to ask his mortgage renewal question, but you can always call Terry Mike at 514-680-4674 at Northeast Mortgages. There are so many more fun things that I want to get to, but maybe, Terry, you can answer on Facebook. Like, John texted in, if you go to the States, they give you a gun with your mortgage. I thought that was a joke.
It was only bank accounts. You open up a bank account, you get a gun with your bank account.
Ridiculous.
And that was in Texas.
Hilarious.
And I don't think they do it ever since Bowling for Columbine, that documentary came out.
Well, that's probably a good thing.
Yeah.
Now you know, John. More questions on the texting machine that you can probably answer if they go to your Facebook or they call you.
Absolutely.
Right?
So go on our Facebook, ask your questions, and I'll be more than happy to answer them, or call us at the office.
First day of school's out. That's the Real Estate Show with Terry Kilakos and myself, Chantal Desjardins. Have a great week, guys.
The opinions expressed